All right. I consumed something that may charitably be described as dinner. I've been re-energized, revitalized, and ready for GoldenEye. What's up, Socrates, Starman27? Welcome, welcome. We are about to finally embark on the next leg of this grand journey that is James Bond. And we will finally be playing GoldenEye 007. We have indeed been spending the last 8 or so hours catching up on Comic-Con news and talking about Mortal Kombat 1 and unboxing a bunch of action figures and Batman Blu-rays and Gundam model kits. I'm like looking around seeing what all this crap that's piled up around me. Good time, good time. And unboxing is important, that is true. Now, let me, before I forget, do a little tweet. This might be of interest to people. So let me just send out a little signal into the ether that we are in fact going to play some GoldenEye 007. Wow, I can't even talk. It's almost like I've been talking for 8 hours. There we go. That'll do. So, the other day we watched the film GoldenEye on Discord, and it was pretty fun. It was a good time. I've seen it before, but not in a very long time. And it got me pumped and prepared for the video game. I've played the game in the past. I have, I'm sure, seen most of it. I've probably played most of it here and there. But I cannot recall ever doing like a properly organized playthrough from beginning to end. And I think this is one of those games where I have less familiarity with it than most of people in chat. That's kind of what I'm expecting anyway. So I'm greatly looking forward to hearing chat's thoughts, feelings, experiences, and not least frustrated reactions to my gameplay prowess or lack thereof. Or whatever might occur. We will be getting into the game before too long, but we have a little bit of a little bit of prep, I guess you could call it, that we should do first. To go over a little bit what this game is, read the description, take a gander at the manual, and I have a few little video clips to watch as well. So let's see, what does the official James Bond documentation have to say about this game? Mission 17 is GoldenEye 007, developed by Rare for Nintendo on the Nintendo 64, released in 1997. In this 3D action game, the player controls James Bond from a first-person perspective, using a variety of weapons to eliminate his foes. However, many parts require the player to be careful, to stay unnoticed, or to snipe guards from a distance, since they will react to his presence and alarm their comrades. Advanced artificial intelligence going on here. The game is divided into missions, and in most of them, Bond will have to perform other tasks beside killing his enemies. Disarming bombs, take pictures of important evidence, or avoid killing scientists. We'll see how that goes. Man, all of a sudden my voice is struggling a bit. We'll hopefully be okay, but we might have some might have a bit of whiskey voice is what I'm trying to say going into this last leg of the stream, but we'll be okay. I'm gonna try to stay hydrated and hope that that helps. Let's see. In addition to this little description, we do also have some advertisement for this game. See what that might look like, setting the mood. getting us ready for the game. Fondest memory of this game, shooting dudes in the foot. Yeah, we got some advanced locational damage and other fancy features going on. It's funny, I mentioned earlier today when we briefly discussed it that watching GoldenEye after having watched License to Kill, it's kind of fascinating because in a lot of ways it really feels like sort of a generational leap. Not to say that it's like generationally better, whatever that would mean in film terms, but like in the years between 89 and 95, the depiction of like secret spy shit and technology and all that, like, I mean, License to Kill isn't particularly focused on like high-tech computer crime or anything, whereas GoldenEye is, but it's also, you know, the fact that it feels very much like a thing of the 90s. But, you know, we'd seen, you know, Christopher Walken use his secret internet connections to figure out Bond's identity in View to a Kill and whatever else. I mean, that one was about, like, microchips and whatever else. And so GoldenEye just felt, you know, of a different era, which, you know, it is. And it's kind of the start of a new era, not just because of the new cast, but, like, everything about it, the music, the set design, the plot. And I just realized, like, it's kind of interesting and fun how this game kind of mirrors that, because the most recent game before this came out in 1993, and the games around that time were like 2D platformers. And now here we have the first full 3D game, and it's this, not only is it a full 3D game, it's like a pretty sophisticated take on a first-person shooter for its time. And you have a lot of, not just like advanced technical aspects, but also a very high degree of fidelity in the replication of the Bond experience. It's not just about shooting dudes, it's not just about driving a car, it's not just about this and that. Like, you have to do all these different things. You get to use your different gadgets, you have interactions with other characters. Like, the fidelity with which the game is capable of capturing the kind of Bond experience is like a generational leap from anything before it, which I think is going to be pretty interesting. Now let's see here, let's do that, and let's set the mood here. I think this is the one we want.
GoldenEye. Load a rumble pack.
You know how to use one of these?
And see how it feels when 007 meets N64. Nintendo 64, the fastest, most powerful games console on Earth.
Citation needed, perhaps, but hey, it's an ad. It was made right around when the internet was becoming a big thing. Yeah, for sure. Like, there's the scene where Isabella Scorupco has to, like, specify the fancy computer that she need to borrow the whatever 14.4 modem so she can, like, contact Boris. I mean, but it's not like embarrassing, or, you know, it's charmingly dated, but it still feels like the tone and plot and everything has this feel of a sleek high-tech thriller, which it feels very Bond, which I appreciate. So apparently, like, I was looking around for ads and whatnot, and this was, I believe, shown in theaters. Like, this was someone had I was gonna say ripped. I guess that's not really the word. They'd recorded it off of like film. So that's why you have this, like, high resolution like widescreen footage, which is kind of interesting. We do also have a Japanese commercial, which is slightly different in tone, but still pretty good. Let's take a look.
世界的なスパイ映画
007の興奮がそのままゲームになりました。いいですね。憧れますね。一度やってみたかったんです。打ちます。打ちます。しびれます。振動パックでブルブルします。任天堂64ソフト007ゴールデンアイ。しびれます。しびれます。
Like half of the commercial is about capturing the true essence of the James Bond secret spy experience. And the other half of the ad is like, there's vibration! You will vibrate! Put in your rumble pack and you will vibrate. You will get shaken, not stirred. Which is pretty good. Is that a Manzai duo? I have to assume so, Lamisar. I have no idea who these people are, but they're pretty good at striking Bond poses. I think they did quite well. Seems appropriate. Just for completeness sake, we can also take a look at these simultaneous trailers that were released when GoldenEye was reissued for the Nintendo Switch Online service and Xbox Game Pass. See what that looks like. With the fucked up kerning or like anti-aliasing on the font. Online multiplayer is like a slight stretch, but technically true, I guess. I don't know what's going on with this super pixelated explosion transition, but whatever. Feels so bizarre to see this, like, running smoothly. Yeah, online multiplayer exists only because the Switch online service has, like, it's basically the equivalent of Steam's like remote play, where you can simulate a local multiplayer session over online. But presumably, we obviously don't have any insight into this. You know, the business dealings between Nintendo and Microsoft, but the general assumption and sort of accepted reasoning is that Nintendo probably dictated that their condition for Microsoft to allow release on Xbox was that the Xbox version would not have anything like not present in the Switch version. Meaning, you know, either they would have some kind of exclusivity or at the very least feature parity. Because when this was first kind of leaked and rumored, well, not that when it was first leaked and rumored, because that was ages ago, but when it became clear that this was actually going to happen, a lot of people, myself included, assumed that, like, oh shit, they're going to release the unreleased Xbox Live version that they made in like 2008. But no, it is just an N64 emulation. Got the same fucked up blurring on the text. Yeah, 4-player split screen. Same shot of the tank. There you go. So I have this version because I have Game Pass and I have Rare Replay. But we're not going to play no stinking modern Xbox version or a Switch version for that matter. We're going to play the N64 version. Emulated, unfortunately, that's the only solution I have, but I made sure to get as authentic of a controller device as I could. Oh yeah. Can get a little bit of background music up and running here, because before we dive in, we should of course also check out the manual. Let's set that up real quick. Can we? Yeah, there we go. That's better. I do not have an N64 for better or for worse. But I've spent a little bit of time tinkering and trying as best I can to make sure that the method by which we're going to play this is going to be, if not faithful perfectly, it's going to be serviceable. And I mean, I guess it shouldn't be much worse than anything we had to do on the old computers. So it should be fine, I should hope. Instruction booklet, GoldenEye 007. Blah, 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 blah. Someone caught Pierce Brosnan somewhat off guard, but he can handle himself. The Nintendo 64 controller. Control stick function. The Nintendo 64 control stick uses an analog system to read the angles and directions of its movement. This allows subtle control that is not possible using the conventional control pad. When turning the control deck power on, do not move the control stick from its neutral position on the controller. If the control stick is held at an angled position, when the power is turned on, this position will be set as neutral. This will cause games using the control stick to operate incorrectly. I should hope that will not be a problem. The control stick is a precision instrument. Make sure not to spill liquids or place any foreign objects into it. Yeah, you don't want to disturb the control stick's finely tuned process of turning itself into dust. Carefully engineered. What's up, Nikita Lobo? Am I planning to get an N64? Thinking to buy one and struggle to choose where and which one to get. Nah, my basic thought on that is like that ship has sailed, kind of. The thing with the Nintendo 64 is that I have absolutely zero like fondness or nostalgia for it. Even at the time, I didn't like the N64. And, like, I think the controller sucks. I think everything looks like a shitty, blurry mess on it. Like, the only kind of saving grace is that there are games on it that are good. But there's nothing about the system or the experience of using the system that I find sort of comfy or nostalgic or fun or anything like that, really. But frankly, the bigger hurdle is getting, like, all of the systems I have a simple, straightforward way of outputting RGB video that I can capture easily. With N64, that's not really the case. Same thing with the Famicom. Like the PC Engine, you will need some sort of device that can do it, but thankfully the SSD 3 system, whatever it's called, does have RGB output, so like it doesn't require hardware modification at least. So if I were to play an N64, I would need some way to have an N64 that can output RGB. Hypothetically, I don't know, I guess people make like HDMI mods for consoles now, so that could be a thing. But I would end up, no matter how, having to jump through a number of hoops. And like, to what end? Collecting or purchasing N64 cartridges does not feel like a worthwhile endeavor at this point in time. Like, trying to get into N64 collection at this point doesn't feel tempting. There are things on it that I would like to own, I suppose, in so much as there are things on the N64 that I would like to play. But, like, it feels like a lot of effort. You know, with all the systems I have, like, there's a certain degree of momentum going into it. I have a collection, I can pick things here and there. And I don't have that with N64. Like, trying to start collecting a system for me now just feels kind of daunting. And even with the PC Engine, I have the original hardware, but I don't have a single original game for it because I don't have a CD drive, so I can only get HuCard games, and those are still... You can get ones pretty cheap, but they're going to be nonsense sports games and, like, stuff that I'm not really that interested in. You know, if I was in Japan and walked into a shop and there was a 300 yen HuCard game that looked, you know, like something I'd like having, sure, I could maybe pick it up, but, like, I'm okay. Like, I've resigned myself to, like, not be collecting PC Engine, but I am very glad to have the original hardware that I can play, you know, stuff off of SD card, HuCards, and CD games. And Mega CD is kind of the same thing. I'm never going to get a functional Mega CD. It's going to be expensive, and you've got to have it refurbished, and CDs are a hassle. Like, I can play CD games on my EverDrive. I'm happy with that. And I think with N64, it's a similar kind of deal where it's not something I've done research into because I've already sort of, I don't even have to get that far to know that I'm not gonna want to bother with it, realistically. Like, I'm sure there's American, or for that matter PAL games that you could find cheap, but, like, well, that's the other thing. I wouldn't want a PAL system, of course. But then you have, like, the whole controller situations, they're a bit shit, so, like, I'm sure you can get third-party ones or newer ones, but, like, even the thought of having to deal with all that stuff just feels like a chore. There's definitely N64 games that I really, really want to play, that I would love to own. But I think the efforts required to get to the point where I can play them on an actual N64 and I can capture them and I can stream them and all that, it hasn't felt worth it. Not when I have so much other stuff that I can get far more easily and play and enjoy. And the thing with the N64 is that, like, I have very little interest in a lot of the Nintendo first-party stuff. Like, Zelda, I don't care about. And if I was going to play Ocarina of Time, I definitely would not do it on a real N64. Mario 64, I have, like, I don't know, more of an academic interest in than an excitement to play it. And again, probably wouldn't want to play it on an N64. I don't know. I think, I don't know, I'm the stuff I would want to play is, like, the Goemon games, Hybrid Heaven, Sin and Punishment, I guess. Sure, why not? The kind of weird, different N64 version of Mortal Kombat Trilogy, Snowboard Kids, a bunch of the Midway stuff, I guess, like Gauntlet. So it's kind of like weird stuff like that, and there's a bunch of, I'm sure, Japanese exclusive things that I'm not really that familiar with. Like, if I had an N64 and if I had an EverDrive for it, I would have no problem piling up hours and hours and hours of games I would play and enjoy. But getting to that point doesn't feel like it's going to be worth the hassle. That's kind of how I feel about it. So I don't have a current plan. Like, hypothetically, would I enjoy having a Famicom with an RGB output, something or other, and an N64 that could do the same? Absolutely. But I think the PC Engine was probably the last console that I was going to bother with, because at this point, getting an N64 sort of up to speed where I can do that, the money and effort I would spend on that could probably be spent on a Mister, which feels like a far more worthwhile investment. Even if the Mister isn't a replacement for an N64 currently, and it might never be, a Mister is like the more sensible investment at this point. And it's probably not going to become any less sensible relative to original console hardware. I'm not dying to get a Mister because I have most of the bases covered with my consoles, but the stuff that I'm actually almost the more excited for with the Mister is the computer stuff. Like, having a very simple interface for running old computer games is very appealing to me, because dealing with computer emulation is a fucking headache and a half. I'm very poorly versed in N64 emulation, so I had to do a little bit of research going into this. But as I said, I was able to piece something together that I think is going to be good enough. But I guess we'll find out if if not. And maybe I'll need some guidance, but I think we should be fine. I think we should be fine. Yeah, emulation is like not in a good state. that's true. Like, and that's the thing, right? Like, I think, Nikita, that's perfectly reasonable. Like, if you really want to play N64 games, that's definitely wanting to actually get an N64 to get that done is very reasonable. And I mean, you could argue that I am maintaining a similar position in that, no, I don't think I'll get an N64 to play those games, but I'm also not electing to go play them on an emulator instead, because I'm more like, I'm still a little more invested in playing games on real hardware and collecting games than I am playing the specific N64 games. I'm fine with not getting to play them. I just saw something on my timeline here that 8-Bit Mods just announced and opened pre-orders for their Memcard Pro 2, which is basically the same thing they've done for the PS1 memory cards, but for PS2, which they seem to have a lot of... When the PS1 Memcard Pro came out, that seemed like a pipe dream. But now it's apparently real. I'm sorry for being a little distracted, but this is interesting, and it's like, I might want to get a pre-order in before I can't. Let me share the tweet. Sorry about this. So Memcard Pro 2 for PS2 and PS1. The Memcard Pro that I use for PS1 is like a dream. It's awesome. So I want one. It's 40 euros. Scheduled for release in December. So the Memcard Pro, if you're not familiar, it's like it takes an SD or micro SD card, and you can create any, like, however many virtual memory cards you can fit on it, and you can connect to it with Wi-Fi, so you have a web interface that you can like scroll through your virtual memory cards. So you basically only ever need one memory card. And if you have an ODE for your PS1, it can automate a lot of stuff where it like automatically switches to one specific memory card for each game you load. Stuff like that, which is really kind of sick. Well, yeah, Gundam, like, failure can be one thing, but the other thing with PS1 games is like you can fit 15 save games at most. Some games have games that take up multiple slots. I'm not currently in like super dire need of storage space, I think, for PS2, but it's still knowing that you have one card that like you don't have to, like, that's the thing with PS1. Like, I have saves, I have like 150 PS1 games, so I have like half a dozen memory cards, and I had to use a spreadsheet to keep track of which games I have saved on which cards. Like, it's a nightmare. So just literally having it on one card, it makes it so much more convenient. So yeah, the Memcard Pro 2 supports automatic cloud backups out of the box. That's the other thing. Hypothetically, right, you can download saves to your computer and transfer them to the memory card. That can be a very convenient thing too. So it's pretty cool. I mean, 40 euros, it's not a tremendous amount of money for a huge, like, quality of life convenience type thing. Let me just double check. So I got the the smoky clear card for my PS1 card, which looks kind of cool. So I guess I should get the solid black card. I mean, they look different enough, but I'm gonna get the black one so I can easily tell the difference between them. Yeah, they mentioned the free McBoot stuff. I'm extremely not familiar with any of that stuff, so I couldn't tell you anything, but I saw it mentioned in the text. I'm just gonna do this right away because I have a very real fear that these might actually sell out very quickly. So let me just go through with this. Yeah, 50 euros shipped. just about. That's very reasonable. Sure. Yep. Not gonna mention my credit card credentials out loud. Place order. Yeah, Gundam for sure. Like, especially if you have like a Mister, which is super convenient, and it works well enough. There we go. Order has been confirmed. Excellent. Cool. There's a lot of ways you can do this that's going to work out super. Like, if you spend the 2 years required to set up fucking RetroArch or whatever, yeah, I'm sure that's a great solution too. When I have had to resort to emulation for playing PS1 games in like some of the other marathon stuff we've done, and we will be doing that for Games Bond as well, it's usually been perfectly fine. But I enjoy collecting the original stuff, and I want to have a console to play them on and everything. There's still an appeal to that. G.I. Joe reveals happening. Yeah, I saw something swish by my timeline, but I've already been distracted enough by virtual PS2 memory cards, and I have that ordered, so I'll check in with you on Discord later, Taco, and you can tell me all about it. Yeah, the thing is, again, like, for me, the PS1 Memcard Pro was like 25 euros or something. Like, that's not a lot of money, and it's worth it for me. Like, I've gotten so much use of the PS1 memory card, and I'm so happy with it that getting it for the PS2 is like a no-brainer, even though I don't feel like I need it at all. I don't need it, but like, when you suddenly do need it, you're going to be very glad to have it. It's kind of how I feel. Yeah, the free McBoot stuff is also like, then you have to sort out storage and whatever else. Like, I have that other thing that I forget the name of all the time, that like the PCS IO, whatever it's called. It's the thing that's supposed to allow you to boot games through the memory card slot off an SD card. I understand the compatibility isn't excellent on that. I know SwordFam had one of those that he tried. And that's also, I guess you use a free McBoot card, so I got one of those with it too. Like, I have a launch PS2, which doesn't even have hard drive support. I don't know, like, so whatever hoops you'd have to jump through to get like hard drive storage situated or whatever, it's like, I haven't bothered enough with PS2 to want to bother with that, but maybe one day. And hey, if I ever do that, then I'm going to be especially glad to have this kind of solution where I don't have to worry about memory card space. Anyway, that was a big old distraction. Sorry about that. Well, you say that OG PS2 and a hard drive is all you need, right? I have a PS2 that doesn't support hard drive. It's a launched Japanese console. Like, the hard drive bay is like literally an empty pocket with nothing. Like, it does not support connecting hard drives. It does not support the network adapter. And even if I had one that could do that, then you need to be able to connect a hard drive to it. I don't even know what kind of hard drives you can connect. Like, I don't know. My understanding is that USB storage like is not viable due to the transfer speeds of the PS2's USB interface. Like, I know with Xbox, like, you can replace the hard drive, but then you have to deal with these ancient like IDE interfaces and stuff, and it seems like a headache, so I haven't even bothered looking into it. What's up, Broccoli Donut? Yeah, my PS2 functions just fine, but it's got a lot of little quirks. Like, the CD tray gets stuck all the time. There's like a software bug that makes it so that anytime you load a DVD, it'll try to load it as a CD first, so it won't load the disc until it's like failed loading it as a CD 5 times, and like then forcibly goes into DVD read mode. But it's the PS2 I happen to be able to get a hold of at the time. USB is possible, but with caveats, I guess. Anyway, we're getting distracted. We have to learn how to hold the Nintendo 64 controller. But this is fake, by the way, and this is lies. I'm not going to be holding the controller like this because I'm not some kind of Neanderthal. I'm going to be holding it like this so I can actually aim with my fucking right thumb and shoot with my right trigger finger. The superior way of controlling the game. So it controls a little bit less like dog shit. Yeah, Nikita, I'm sure there are solutions that are pretty straightforward. But again, it's just one of those things where, considering that I'm not currently like on the hunt for that kind of solution, the idea of my own volition beginning to do research on where I start to do research to find out what's available and how it works, I'm exhausted just thinking about it. But if I ever reach the point where I go, hey, this is something that I want to solve, I'm sure I can find a solution. But I haven't really felt the need. Controller configuration, or connection rather. I think we can skip that. The GoldenEye story. Alright, 007, it's time to get down to business. Some time ago, Pirate, a top-secret combat helicopter, was hijacked from a French war vessel in Monte Carlo. Okay, I'm like confused because it's like, okay, well, whatever. Also, it's not called that in the movie, but that's okay. Pirate was stolen by Xenia Onatop. She was assisted by several mysterious comrades. Xenia, a former Soviet pilot, is a known accomplice of the Janus Syndicate, an international organization that is world-renowned for its dealings in top-flight illegal arms. They are currently based in St. Petersburg, Russia. Pirate reappeared 2 days ago in Russia near the site of an unusual disturbance believed to be the result of the discharge of the GoldenEye weapons satellite. The situation is serious, 007. If Pirate or GoldenEye has fallen into the wrong hands, I don't have to tell you that the security of the free world could be in jeopardy. We want you to recover the Pirate helicopter and get to the bottom of this. You are licensed to kill. M. Yeah, isn't it like the Tiger helicopter in the film? I'm pretty sure it's not called the Pirate, but I could be misremembering. I was just like a little confused because this is like, this happens a bit into the movie. The fact that this is like has already happened, it's, I don't know, it gets confusing to me. But like, well, I mean, they can't really give you the story of what happens before any of the story starts, so I guess that makes sense. I don't know. Whoa. All right, chill. I just found it confusing for a second. Maybe it's the 8.5 hours of streaming that has me a little bit not quite mentally there, but it'll be fine. Yeah, we're gonna be changing the control scheme to make it a little more civilized, so we can walk on the D-pad, aim and turn with the analog stick, and just flick our thumb over this way to reload and activate and change weapons. Hold the A button and tap the Z button to cycle reverse. Right, okay. That's the thing I couldn't remember how to do when I was trying to press. I just read this word. Trying to play, like, test the game, make sure it worked. Basically, Turok controls. Basically, any FPS on a console control. Basically, WASD and mouse. Or the close, because this is not something I'm trying to hack now. This is like, whenever I played this back in the day, that's how I played it, because I was used to playing FPS games like with keyboard and mouse since I played Marathon in like 94. And even when I played like Duke 3D, because Duke 3D didn't have proper mouse support, it didn't have mouse look. So I would concoct this control scheme where I used the keyboard, but basically simulating this kind of control scheme where I turned left and right and looked up and down, and then I like shot, and I'd use like the insert home, page up, page down keys for that, and I'd use like the WASD or whatever for strafing and walking, and that works a lot better than standard keyboard controls. Rumble pack's not going to be a factor. This does have some kind of... Well, actually, never mind. I was going to say, this does have some kind of cartridge slot, but It connects into bare plastic, so I'm pretty sure you couldn't really plug anything in here. It'd be pretty fancy for a USB controller to support an actual Rumble Pack, I suppose. Creating a game file. Yep, that's easy enough. Popping and erasing, I think we'll be fine. Mission game. I guess that's as opposed to multiplayer. On the game select screen, choose select mission to play the one-player mission-based game. Move the target icon to the desired mission. Press start, the A or Z button to confirm and view the difficulty screen. Selecting difficulty level. On the difficulty screen, highlight the desired level with the target icon and press start, the A or Z button to advance. Funny that they call it the target icon, not like the cursor. There are 3 levels of difficulty. Agent, easiest, Secret Agent, medium, and 00 Agent, most difficult. Background. Your missions will take you all over the world. Make sure to read the background information to keep current on the pending mission. When you begin a level, make sure to pay attention to the opening cinema scene as it may contain useful clues to help you solve objectives. Sick. Pretty hype. Yeah, when I was looking through the controls when I was testing this out before, like, I was a little bit surprised because in my memory there were more control schemes than were available, but I can't remember offhand if this game supports the control schemes that use 2 controllers or if they only did that for Perfect Dark. It's very possible that this does have it, but I only have 1 controller plugged in and the emulator is probably set up to only use 1 controller, so it probably wouldn't give you the option. But I can't remember, because in Perfect Dark I'm fairly sure there is a control scheme where you use like 1 controller in each hand, so you get like 2 analog sticks basically. I know that there's some game on N64 that does that, but I could be getting it confused with something else. It could be one of the Turok games. I'm actually not positive. M briefing. M will provide you with more detailed background information. Q branch. Aside from even more background information, Q will give you the lowdown on any handy gadgets that you may require for this mission. That's pretty sick, getting like proper Q branch briefings. I mean, even getting proper briefings, period, is kind of a new thing for Bond games. We haven't really gotten that. Moneypenny. Don't forget Moneypenny. For each mission, she'll wish you well, providing you with light-hearted comments. That's good. Objectives. Unlike other first-person perspective games, the object of the game isn't necessarily to destroy everything or everyone you come in contact with. Some people or objects are necessary to complete the mission. Shoot the wrong person or destroy the wrong computer, and the mission could be a failure. Make sure to read through the list of objectives for each mission. The fate of the free world depends on it. Yeah, it's so fun and cool to see stuff like this where you have to read. It's like when we played the Monkey Island games last year, it was fascinating to read the manual. Like, the introduction of the manual is like, this is what an adventure game is. This is what you're expected to go through and experience and stuff like that. So many things you kind of take for granted. And I mean, I understood those immediately playing Monkey Island as a kid or whatever, but people, you know, would have played that game, you know, at a different stage in their life with different levels of experience. You know, if I'm going to play fucking, I don't know, Fortnite or some shit, I'd love to read a manual that tries to explain to me as though I was, well, I can't say a child because children understand Fortnite, as though I was a senior citizen, just like carefully sit me down and explain what the hell I'm about to experience and what to expect from it. It would be quite helpful. So I think it's cool. But it's interesting to see these kinds of things. And how the whole, you know, package was kind of what they had to do or chose to do in order to kind of sell it to prospective players. It's interesting. During the mission-based game, press start to pause the game and view the Q Watch. Q Watch allows you to view information in the current mission, change weapons, controller configuration, and other game options. Alright, mission status screen. This is the first screen you see after pressing start. Here you can check your mission status, the current item in hand, amount of ammunition, and your life/armor meter. Abort mission. If you find yourself stuck in an area with no way out, or the difficulty level is just too much for you, select abort mission and try again. A different approach could be the key to success. Weapons and item screen. Select the desired weapon or item, then press the A or Z button to equip. Start to resume gameplay. Yeah, I guess when you have like a camera or stuff like that, you might have to go through this menu because I'm not sure. They might not cycle through them if you're just using the weapon cycling button. Controller configuration screen. Yeah, this one I'm well familiar with. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you can do like a controller test thing. Oh yeah, here you go. For the true professional, try using 2 controllers connected to sockets 1 and 2 and select one of 2 different controller configurations. Yeah, so this game does support like dual joystick controls. That's sick. General options. Oh yeah, this game is fucking unhinged because it defaults to reverse like up and down aiming. Well, there's some weird shit in 3D games up until like the mid 2000s for sure. Screen full/wide/cinema ratio, normal or 16:9. Best suited for larger or widescreen televisions, giving the game a more cinematic look. That's actually really sick. Like the fact that you have the screen setting separate from the ratio setting. So I guess you can set it to be like letterbox 16:9. Or like I'm not exactly sure what combination of settings you would use here, but it sounds like if you're playing it on a 16:9 screen, you can actually set it up to properly use it. The problem, of course, I would assume anyway, it's true for all like PS2 games and stuff. Like any game that has proper 16:9 support is not going to have the 2D elements, like the HUD and stuff like that, is not typically going to be scaled properly, or FMVs and stuff like that. Like the rendered 3D can be rendered in the correct aspect ratio, but all other 2D assets would have been authored for the 4:3 ratio, so they're going to be like stretched. It's like that's enough to be like to make it not look good for me to not want to use it. I mean, in this case, we're going to do it 4:3 for the layout and standard, whatever. That's a moot point, but like in general, I like to have these like big ass Pierce Brosnan screenshots in the manual. It's pretty cool. Letterboxing probably helps frame rate. It could, for sure, but it depends, I guess, on how it's... Well, yeah, I mean, I guess playing in 16:9 wouldn't make a difference, but if it's letterboxed, it could. But it depends on how it's done. Like, maybe it's rendering everything and it's just sticking black polygons on top of everything. But you never know. The Bond Arsenal. Throwing knife, the ultimate silent weapon. Commando standard equipment on covert missions. Fighting knife, a lethal knife designed for vicious close quarters fighting. PP7 special issue, a small, easily concealed automatic pistol, which can be fitted with a silencer. 007's weapon of choice. The DD4 Dostove, a Soviet-made automatic pistol, issues to officers, loud but powerful. Cougar Magnum, the fake weapon names are pretty funny. Possibly the most powerful revolver in the world, can fire through some objects. Spider, a modern variant of the Czech machine pistol, small but capable of automatic fire. So is that the Scorpion? I think it might be. I can't remember exactly what weapons are in the game. Can't remember if the DD-44 is that like a Karev? Like it, when I'm picturing it in my head, it looks more like a Desert Eagle or something. But I don't know. We can see what it looks like in the game and see if we can piece together what kind of gun it's supposed to be. ZMG 9mm, powerful submachine gun. Noise is a problem, but offset by excellent man-stopping capability. I'm not convinced that stealth is going to be like a huge thing, but maybe in some missions. I can't remember what this is like. It's like a mini Uzi or something, maybe. The D5K Deutsche. Fucked up spelling here. That's the MP5K. Special Forces equipment. Can be fitted with a silencer for covert missions where firepower is needed. Phantom. Submachine gun with a specially extended magazine. Brute force is all. No subtlety here. A terrorist favorite. Huh. Yeah, there's like more weapons than I kind of remember. Yeah, the K-47 is the... like the AKS... whatever. It's not really an AK-47, but... KF-7, I guess it's called even. The standard issue rifle to Soviet troops. Tough and capable with a long range. US R-33 AR-33, I guess, assault rifle. Yeah, that's the like the AR-15, whatever version of it is, if you can possibly make it out from looking at it. US manufactured assault rifle, excellent range and stopping power. The RC-P90, yeah, it's the P90. A phenomenally powerful submachine gun with a near bottomless magazine. Grenade launcher, takes practice to use well, but deadly in the hands of an expert. Anything with explosions in this game, like, takes practice to use well, because as soon as you explode anything, the frame rate drops to single digits. Rocket launcher, tank stopping heavy weapon, devastating against soft targets. Sniper rifle, I like that they just give up trying to mimic names of like anything specific. It's just grenade launcher and rocket launcher. And sniper rifle. An extreme range single shot rifle. Highly effective, but patience and timing are required. When aiming, press C up and C down to zoom in and out. That's good to know. I didn't realize that was a thing. Grenades, pull out the pin, count and throw. Simple. The fuse is 5 seconds, so a count of 2 or 3 is safe. I guess you hold the trigger and let go to throw, I assume. Remote mines, a versatile device, clings to most surfaces and can be set off by remote control. When he used those in the movie, when he like pulled out the fucking giant plastic mines, I did have a little bit of a Leonardo DiCaprio moment of like, oh, it's a thing from the game. Like, it actually looks the same, which obviously is like more about the game than the movie, but I was like, oh yeah, dude, that's kind of cool. They actually took that prop from the movie. Of course, we have a bunch of varieties of mines here. Timed mines, proximity mines, motion sensing limpet mines. Fire, but don't forget, as they can't tell the difference between friend and foe. Yeah, I guess there has to be more weapons that aren't mentioned here, right? Because unless because now I'm trying to remember, like, unless the names here aren't accurate, because there's some, like, I mean, maybe Deutsche is misspelled in the game too, but I wonder if, and I always remembered reading this as like the DD4 Dostovel. Well, that's probably just me being a blind idiot child. I'm not sure. So there could just be a bunch more weapons that aren't here. I'm not sure. What's up, Aristortle? Yeah, the rocket launcher. Pretty sure the real life P90 magazine is limited to 50 rounds. Yeah, it's not actually bottomless, but 50 rounds is quite a bit. Gadgets, bungee equipment, an extra strength cord, and reinforced fastenings for those really long jumps. Door decoder, a powerful crypto breaker program. It cracks the code on security doors in seconds. This is so sick. Like, reading this in advance is going to provide no help in completing the game, but just reading this long list of shit that you're going to get to use in the game, it's like, it does a lot to build up the hype. The P9 in the game has 80 rounds. Yeah, I'm sure it's like exaggerated. Bomb diffuser, a device built for 007, cuts the correct wire automatically. Well, that's convenient. Key analyzer, a device built by Q specifically to copy the GoldenEye code key. I don't think that happens in the movie, does it? Tracker, this magnetic tracker has a long life and a huge range. Just have to plant it carefully. Covert modem, ideal for gaining access to closed data storage systems. Above ground, that is. Micro camera, compact camera with a manual zoom facility, perfect for spying. Data thief, a high-speed, high-density data copying device, can break through nearly all protective measures. Oh, to this picture. Plastique, a shaped charged plastic explosive with a timer setting. Watch laser, Q-branch, standard issue cutting laser. Limited lifespan means Bond will have to work fast. Watch magnet, a miniature electromagnet. Only a few uses before charge is drained completely. Maybe the Klob is multiplayer only. I guess it could be, because there's definitely weapons. There's like the Moonraker laser and shit. There's stuff that's not in the game, but it doesn't, like... I feel like I remembered being... I don't know, but I guess there's probably like cheat codes to get multiplayer weapons in missions too. I don't know, like my memory of this is very, very hazy. I guess we're about to find out. Too many hits from unfriendly fire could prove fatal. It will also mean game over. If this happens, you will return to the background screen where you will have another crack at the mission. Make sure to pick up the body armor. While the body armor won't make you invincible, it could give you the protection you need to complete a mission. Yeah, good old scene bean. yeah, the Moonraker Lizard is in the secret mission. I guess I vaguely remember that, but it's... I guess it's not part of the campaign, you could kind of say. No mentions of slappers only, either. Oh, friends, enemies, and villains. Friends, Natalia Simonova. Computer programmer based at Severnaya. She's the only survivor of the terrorist raid. Valentin Sukovsky, a former enemy of Bond, he has become a black market trader in arms and information in the new Russia. In arms and information, alright. 006, Alec Trevelyan. A fellow 00 agent, Bond trusts his life to Alec Trevelyan. Defense Minister Mishkin, a patriotic member of the Politburo. I'm trying to remember, alright, I'm piecing together who he was in the movie. Enemies, Janus, the shadowy leader of the Janus Syndicate. Xenia Onatop, a Janus lieutenant. She is a hotshot pilot and crack killer who enjoys her work. It's just a Nintendo-friendly way of describing her. General Arkady Orumov, a traitorous Soviet officer in league with the Janus Syndicate. Spoilers. Boris Grishenko, the programming genius behind the main systems of the GoldenEye satellite who sells out to Janus. Other villains. Try and find these 4 villains. Jaws, an arch-villain 8 feet tall and virtually indestructible. Avoid at all costs. Mayday, a slim target with a sharp draw. A lethal adversary. Baron Samedi, his countrymen fear his skill in the black arts, but he's equally at home with a more conventional weaponry. A little bit different from what we've seen in other games. Oddjob, a diminutive villain sporting a bowler hat. He's small and deadly. It's pretty funny. I hadn't thought of it, but this is literally the exact same lineup of villains as in the duel. The Master System version didn't have Mayday, but it's otherwise the exact same. She was in the Mega Drive game. And Baron Samedi is called Baron Samedi and not Bones in this one. That's nice. I forget Mayday had a different name in the Mega Drive game too, but I forget what it was. It's a weird little thing. But I want to say there's more characters than this in the multiplayer game, but maybe not. Maybe these are the 4 that show up in the secret missions or something. But I guess I could be misremembering. I know I read that they intended to put all the other Bond actors in the game, and I think there might be data that you can dig out of the textures for the other Bonds, but it was something they couldn't get the likeness rights for one of them, so they didn't put any of them in, or there was some non-technical reason why they ended up not being able to do it. Yeah, I recall, yeah, you can play Borish and I guess Orumov and Simonova probably. Yeah, you're right, I guess this is all about, it doesn't, yeah, we haven't started on the information for multiplayer yet, so that makes sense. Yeah, exactly, Gunnar, the textures for the other Bonds are in there. I wonder if you would have been able to pick a different Bond for the mission file or something, because I always thought it was funny when the save data selection screen, you have 4 passports or whatever, and they look identical, they have the same picture of Pierce Brosnan. I feel like they should have had different pictures on there. But whatever. Multiplayer game. Options. Up to 4 players may play. Scenario. The 8 different game scenarios are as follows. Normal. Standard competitive mode. You only live twice. Each player lives twice. The last player alive wins. The Living Daylights. Flag tag. Whoever has the flag longest is the winner. And carrying the flag, no objects can be collected or used. It's pretty sick. They just have the, well, I was gonna say the Bond movie names, and then they kind of ran out. The man with the golden gun. Whoever has the golden gun can defeat enemies in a single shot. License to kill. Every hit is fatal. And then it's just 2v2, 3v1, 2v1. Play in one of several different areas. Game length. Okay, this is not super important. Yeah, characters. There are many different characters available. Can you find them all? That's right. I guess you unlock them through the stage. There's these. I know you unlock the cheat codes by clearing stages at certain times or whatever. I suppose you probably unlock multiplayer characters and maybe other stuff through I don't know if the stages, like you can maybe only pick stages based on how far you get in the campaign or something like that too. Wouldn't be too crazy. Choose weapons, health. To make the game more even, adjust the health level of one or all 4 players. Veteran players can select a lower health level to make the game more interesting. Novice players should select a higher health level. Tips for success. Some weapons that normally fire a short burst of bullets will fire a single shot when using the aim. The single shot will be more accurate than a burst because the weapon's recoil spoils your aim when you fire it continuously. That's interesting. I'm assuming that's probably the case in single player too, right? The weapons should work the same. Throwing knives can be thrown more quickly if you prepare yourself. I guess that means you can kind of cook the knives. You hold the trigger to like load it and then you let go to throw. That's what I would guess is that what that means. Some of the high power weapons are able to shoot through objects, including doors. Leaning is ideal when under heavy fire. Stand behind a corner or column, then lean out left or right and fire off a few rounds. Alright, we can't do backup or archival copies. Not necessary, are not authorized and are not necessary to protect your software. Violators will be prosecuted. Pierce Brosnan's gonna fucking shoot you in the face if you back up your Nintendo cartridges. Alright, okay, cool, cool. Alright, well, that's the GoldenEye manual. Got a little bit of flavor and interesting details there. Now allow me to connect my controller. All right, 9 hours into stream. We're finally about to embark on our mission. Yeah, shout outs to Miss Moneypenny. Shout outs to Miss Cash Coin. Okay, let's see. We find meat here. Oh yeah, let's see if the yeah, give me a sec here. Oh, I have to wait through a thing here. Product, well, I mean my Nintendo 64 hardware. So let me just, so I guess, oh, it's gonna boot up first. Okay, let's try this. Wait, why is it? Okay, all right, I have a... Do this. Wait, why is it? Oh. That's why I had a crop thing. I see. I forgot that I set this up. There we go. Actually, it doesn't look right. I probably... Okay, yeah, the crop is... Okay, okay. I'm going to fudge with this a little bit more. Winter dressed Bond. Oromov looks a bit funky there. Stushenko. Ex-KGB agent Valentin Sokovsky. Dmitry Mishkin. Now it's for like extra 16 by 9. I just wanted to see. Oh, so like I'm the emulator's in full screen right now because if it's windowed, It's like a tiny ass window on my screen. Whoops, I did accidentally one. And I don't know if there's a like proper way to wonder. Yeah, I think that looks good. Yeah, sorry, I thought I'd done all the setup needed, but I realized that I'd probably done all the setup to make it play properly, but I didn't quite look into the capture. Back to this. Go. So we're gonna do a little bit of additional we'll do that. And we'll increase this, I guess, but I need to see how much I need to increase it. But well, I guess we can do this. The controls should hopefully work. Oh, there we go. I just couldn't skip it during the actual blackout. There's this like... Okay, it's like weird extra letterboxing. I guess it's like the overscan thing. Alright, well, whatever. Let's just... Up with the solution here. Why is it so... 3, 4... Okay. It's really weird. I have to crop this much, but that's fine. N64 emulation, ladies and gentlemen, I guess. There we go. I have to like decide how to hold this because I'll be holding it like this when I play. So I have a save file and I like played through the first level because I had to make sure that stuff was working and everything. But obviously we're gonna start over, so we're probably gonna have to redo some options and whatnot, but let's do it. N64 is just too powerful. And with that, I think we can start the timer. Oh yeah, I have to. Select mission. Damn. So I received the question previously, what difficulty level are we aiming for? And let me back up. Yeah. If we start a new file, the cursor is like automatically highlighting a default option. Select mission, damn. And it's defaulting to 00 agent. And I find that a little bit terrifying because I'm sure some of the stages are going to be a fucking nightmare on this difficulty. I think 00 agent is going to be the most interesting in terms of the mission objectives, because I know that at least on agent, you always like skip a bunch of objectives. I don't know if anyone in chat can confirm whether or not 00 agent tends to have additional objectives over secret agent, or if they're the same and it's just harder. I'm not committing to doing the highest possible difficulty level or the highest level of difficulty that has more objectives or whatever, but I think it would be the coolest and most interesting to see all the stuff that we can / have to do. But I understand that even if we start on 00 agent, we can at any point decide to do an easier difficulty level, because basically each level gives you the option of picking the highest difficulty that you cleared the previous mission on. So we can kind of see how that goes. 00 agent has more objectives. Okay. That's what I thought, but I wasn't positive. So I think trying mission 1 on 00 gives us a good sense of what to expect. Like if the first level feels like it's a fucking pain, then it's probably going to get a lot worse. And we're probably not going to do it. But it doesn't really cost us anything to try the first one. Even if we clear the first mission, even if we clear a couple of them, that doesn't in any way lock us into having doing the rest of the game on 00 Agent anyway. So I think we should probably start there and see how it goes. In my memory, the first stage is like quick and easy, and then you get to the facility and it's like, that's like the brick wall because it's long and tedious. You have to fuck around with the scientists and shit. But that's my 25-year-old memories. We'll see how it goes. Let's do it. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, 00 Agent James Bond. Mission 1, Archangels. Part 1, Dam. Primary objectives: neutralize all alarms, install covert modem, intercept data backup, bungee jump from platform. What's up, Mike 1109? Damn, 00 is hilariously hard for first level in a game. Yeah, see, that's kind of how I remember it. Like, I think enemies are just like a billion times more deadly and they snipe you from a million miles away, and we have to fuck around in like the sewer tunnels and shit. Well, I mean, I guess we don't have to necessarily go in there. We have to like find the alarms. I think I know, like the data backup thing. I guess we do that on a little computer terminal that's on the back of a building. And we'll see if we get some help explaining it. Your auto aim is worse. That's great. Yeah, like I absolutely don't expect to play through this on 00 Agent, but I'm curious to at least try the beginning to see how it goes. Like, I'm expecting that we'll go through it on Secret Agent, but even that might prove like too troublesome. But I would rather try on 00 Agent first and then step down as necessary than just like starting off. Because if we start off on a lower difficulty level, I don't know at what point I'm going to feel compelled to just go back to the first stage to try to do it on 00. It's better to get an idea of what we could expect. And just as a general rule, or general guideline, I guess we can call it, there's going to be a lot of people in chat who know this game very well. I do not. I have played this before. I have vague memories of things here and there, but once we're past like the first stage, I'm definitely not going to remember level layouts, what mission objectives mean, or what we're supposed to do. And I would kindly ask people to not like trip over themselves in trying to tell me exactly what to do the entire time. I'm not like deathly afraid of spoilers. I'm not gonna get super mad if I get help. I'm not gonna insist on beating the game with zero assistance. But if the purpose of the game is to like solve, complete objectives and doing stuff, I want to at the very least be able to try to do stuff before chat tells me exactly what I'm supposed to do. So please keep that in mind for people who are familiar with the game. Please bite your tongue. I might ask for help, or I might, and it's cool. Like, I have a pretty relaxed attitude when it comes to that stuff. But I don't necessarily want, I don't want to start every level with chat telling me exactly what I'm supposed to do, because that's not really the proper way to experience the game, in my opinion. But we'll see how it goes. Bunker 2, probably the first level that's pretty hard on Secret Agent. We'll see. We'll see. I expect to have a lot of trouble. Background. MI6 has confirmed the existence of a secret chemical warfare facility at the Bielomoria Dam, USSR. Its heavily guarded location and workings are a cause for major concern. Nerve gas produced there has been turning up in the hands of hostile regimes around the world, and deals with international terrorists have been rumored. This facility should be destroyed with extreme prejudice. Briefing. The area around the dam is well defended against full-scale military attack, but a lone agent stands a much better chance. The easiest way to gain entrance to the weapons factory will be to get down the face of the dam. Q had an idea about that. It's kind of cool that we get this extended briefing that obviously we don't get in the movie. Q branch. Information concerning shipping and contact is stored on a computer system in a secret ops room within the dam. With this covert modem connected to their satellite link, we can intercept the data when a backup is carried out. As for getting down the dam, use the bungee rope. Bottom of the jump, use the piton gun. Simple. Yeah, I was thinking, I was surprised that we picked difficulty level first, but I guess the briefing might be different, because it doesn't make sense for him to talk about the modem on a difficulty level where you don't have to use it. Computer system in a secret ops room. Maybe that is in the sewers or the underground tunnels. We'll try to find out. Hardly a lover's leap, James. Be careful though. I hate to think of you falling for anyone else. All right, those first things we need to do is go into the options and set up the controls and whatnot. Nine years ago. Yeah, we get this like very slight letterboxing. You have to delay, pause. Pause music's so good. This music is in the movie. When this music played in like the opening scene, I freaked out. Like, what the fuck? This is like the N64 music. The authentic smeary fuzz. Yeah, dude, that was a real problem. None of the like graphics plugins that come with the emulator allow you to play with anything remotely like approaching N64 visuals. So I had to get some other thing that basically has no options, but it does give you a reasonable approximation of the N64 look. What's up, Taco? Yeah, we're just about to start. Yeah, I was thinking, like, based on the descriptions in the manual, I wasn't sure what weapons some were supposed to be, and I was thinking, yeah, maybe we could look at the 3D model and make it out. I don't know that I could look at this and say, oh, it's supposed to be a Walter PPK, because it looks, well, pretty crude, but that's all right. There's a covert modem. Right, so there we go. Solitaire. D-pad to move, right stick to aim, or right stick. I'm using the stick with my right thumb is what I meant to say. To look, and yeah, if we do this, try it out. I can see the stick moving around, but the controller also spins around. Aim. So that, yeah, can like cycle backwards. And I guess you can use this, like you can do this like right-handed also, but the important thing is, whoops, you don't have strafing and looking on one thing and walking and turning on the other. So it also took me a good deal of time to tweak like the control settings to make the analog stick work and not like fly all over the place, because that's my first experience and it was like unplayable. But I think I have it set up so that I can actually sort of aim. I had the look ahead turned off. Maybe I want to have it turned off now, but when the sensitivity was super high, like you desperately needed this to like automatically recenter your aim, or it was like just looking all over the place. So we'll see. Hopefully, gonna kind of make this work. Oh, it's pretty cool. You can get the full briefing in game also. So we don't get any more like info on any of this. Nope. We just get to know if they're incomplete or complete. All right. All right, yep, controls seem correct. All right, well, I shot his hat at least. We're doing it, guys. We're playing GoldenEye. Like, dude, I can't fucking see shit, but... Got him. Headshots are a bit tricky, but hey. Oh, it's sniper rifle, right. Oh, I think there's another tower where there's armor, I think. Sniper rifle might come in handy for the guard towers at the end of the stage. I think that, yeah, I saw some shimmering pixels on the ground. How's audio, by the way? I hope it's good. It looks like it's okay, but let me know if I need to tweak some volume settings. If I can. Yeah, I had to tweak it so that I can push the aim, but when the sensitivity was too high, like trying to aim even a little bit would make it super easy to just like push the camera around, making the actual aim like super hard to actually use. I mean, it's already kind of difficult to use, but... Oh, okay. Someone's shooting. I think there's a couple of gray pixels over there. Is he done dying? Nope, there we go. So I guess the stealth isn't worth much at this point, right? I think they know I'm here. I guess he's not dead. Oh, there we go. I think he's dead. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, that was a fun little trip. Did I just... You can, like... Yeah, you can stay crouched like that. I guess you lean to uncrouch or... Wait, what? Oh, no, you just press up. Okay. There's dudes in that little bunker. Oh, dude right here. Got a burst fire. AK for some reason. You don't want to stand too close to those things. I guess those are nerve gas barrels. So awkward. Alright, you gonna come out? Gonna spook him? Fuck it then. The sound effect when you hit the bullets, the like it's pretty satisfying. Self-driving truck, I guess. Like kind of chrome effect going on in the window. That's pretty cool. The logistics of this whole truck operation I don't quite get, but that's all right. It's pretty cool. Oh, that's... Oh, I'm hitting something. Oh, he's dead. Is he running for the alarm? I think he might be. That little tiny explosion is so ridiculous. I want to say maybe there's... I vaguely recall there being armor in one of these towers. Well, maybe on a lower difficulty level. We're doing okay so far. Oh, frame rate. Delicious frame rate. Yeah, because like by default in the emulator, it plays at like whatever resolution you set, and it's like perfectly smooth. Yeah, you take damage from the tiny explosions. Or like you shoot a wooden crate and it causes this explosion that lasts for like 6 seconds. Yeah, Dostove. I guess it's Dostove and then a period. That's probably why I thought it said Dostovel. Yeah. Well, I guess maybe this is supposed to be a CZ75? I don't know. I can't reasonably make out what kind of gun this is supposed to be. I'm currently playing 00 Agent, but I'm not committing to doing a 00 run. We'll see how things go. So, I can... Yo, so this is a thing, but like... Do I... Do I do something with this? This is not me asking chat, by the way, but... Yeah, this doesn't barely looks... I mean, it kind of looks like shit. A Ruger? Is that called like a P-44 or something? I guess maybe that's what it's supposed to be. Or is it a Tokarev? Yeah, no, I guess I can kind of see it with the... Well, I was going to say with the kind of stripes on the grip, but I don't know. There's like scan lines on this screen. It's hard to make out. Yeah, because that was my first guess, because it's like, it's got a Russian sounding name. So it's like, yeah, it might be a Tokarev. Because it has that kind of bulbous back, like the internal hammer. But it's, yeah, it doesn't really, I mean, again, with the level of detail is so low, with like the textures and everything too. It's I can see, like, the pistol grip looks really wrong, like the shape of it, but it doesn't really look right for any kind of pistol. Yeah, that's what makes the most sense for sure. So can I pick this? So I only have one, and I don't know that I can collect it, so I don't think I should use it here. We can always come back here. Oh, that's right, we can... There's a little hint that there's something going on down there. We should probably explore the underground sections at least. We're obviously not going to get any expert clear times on stages here, but fine. It's satisfying. Oh yeah, we can zoom. That's nice. Aiming is pretty tricky. In combat rolls. He had to finish rolling before dying. Pretty good. Yeah, him running off the tower is pretty good. Oh, but I kind of hate trying to do this. Like they like start running up to me. Can I shoot through this? I don't think so. Well, no, maybe. Roll before dying. There's like alarms. Actually, I don't know if there's stuff up here. Can bond climb? There we go. Ladders in first-person shooters. I mean, especially fucking 1997. Dire situation. Up here, I guess. Be expected. Can I survive the drop? Good. Definitely switched weapons. Right, so you have to destroy all these. They've got a lot of HP. Oops, I wanted to reload. Here we go. Oh, shit. Take a lot of damage on this difficulty level. There might be stuff down here. Actually do controlled bursts. Pretty cool. I automatically add like zoom that I have no control over this weapon, I guess. Oops. There we go. Figured out how to do that. Oh. Yeah, auto aim a little less generous. The automatic zoom in like disorienting. Hiding behind wooden crates seems unsafe because they'll explode. Someone hit something over there. I'm about to die. Okay. That would explain that. Getting the weapons correct. Oh, well, I reloaded it. Yeah, there's a lot more auto aim on the lower difficulties for sure. Fucking first stage too. I mean, obviously, I don't know if I'm like doing it right, but all right, I guess I just missed him. Yeah, double agent's gonna be rough. I mean, I still want to try it, but 1056, 52% accuracy. I thought we were doing like pretty okay until we got down to the tunnels. I'd like to see if we can at least beat one stage today. But I make no promises of completing a single stage on Double Agent. Yeah, the sound design in this is good. Like, they did a great job with matching, like, the guitar stuff is like not really like the movie score or anything, but the soundscape just kind of fits with the feel of the movie and the game. Like, a lot of the stock sounds for the guns and the ricochets and stuff are definitely, if not literally, at least figuratively, right out of the movie. I thought there should be another guy here. Double O agent, super hard when you don't know how to complete your objectives. Also obnoxious if you don't abide to stealth rules, because guys infinitely spawn. That is terrifying and good to know. Like, the whole thing is like, the game doesn't like signpost super clearly when you are or are not like in stealth. Like, two blurry gray half pixels a mile away start shooting at you. It's like, okay, all right, I guess they knew where I was. I'm not sure like when or how that happened, but see, case in point. Like a 5th or a 6th or whatever of my health right there. A single shot with a noise. I guess I could have done this. Probably just have used this to begin with. I think I shot him, but I saw a gray blurry mess that may have been his head, or it may have been bullet hole. I guess that's what someone's head. Yeah, I think we're good. Crouching all the way. So you can get the body armor, right? Like, I'm not talking about the stage, but just game mechanics. But there's no way to refill your health, is there? The manual doesn't mention it, at least. And for how many kills you get and how many guns they drop, you don't tend to be at like a massive surplus of ammunition. I mean, as far as the whole stealth things go, you can kind of excuse the game, of course, for being a bit primitive. Well, the whole alarm thing, I just remember, like, I have a strong, vivid memory of the klaxon sounds, but I don't actually know. Like, I'm assuming that means that enemies can walk up to those alarm things and trigger the alarm. This... Okay, I guess this is stuck in the wall somehow and I can't grab... Nope, there we go. Well, I guess I was basically right. Trying to use the correct button combination to swap weapons. Avoiding gunfire is preferred. Avoiding being on the receiving end, or avoiding having to shoot stuff. I mean, both, I guess, probably, but... Okay, you can at least tap the button faster than the screen will show the weapon cycling. So I guess we can try... Okay. We can try destroying this and see if it's going to fail the objective. Yep, okay. That's good to know. So maybe this is the thing we're supposed to hack. I guess we'll try that next time. D-pad is a bit funky. Gives me a bunch of false diagonals. Well, we got 69.9% accuracy. That's pretty good. It's better than last time. And I mean, we failed both times, so one's not really better or worse than the other. Oh, I get a little different cutscene. Kinda neat. Yeah, Double Agent seems like a real problem. Sniping those headshots is satisfying, but also feels very luck dependent. I should just use this. It's almost like you get a sniper rifle here, where you like should use it. I hate these fucking glass panes. You can barely see them. Yeah, I guess you can't crouch with this weapon because pressing the crouch button makes you zoom out. Fuck it, okay. I'm not sure where he was going, but took that first shot, which wasn't great, but you need to clear the game in Double Agent for the final extra mission. Yeah, I don't care. If I played this game as a kid, I would not have considered that mandatory for clearing the game, so I won't do that now either. Oh boy. So like the decreased sensitivity means I can't quite aim all the way out to the corner like you're probably supposed to. But on the plus side, I can like fucking actually aim. I mean, as you can see, I'm still struggling with it a little bit. Breathing doesn't help. I have like full sensitivity or even slightly higher. So fucking hard. Might have hit him. Yeah, I mean, we might want to mess around with some of that stuff, but like, as far as like my commitment to the game, It's definitely not beating it on Double Agent or getting every secret or cheat or anything of the nature. The enemies are pretty tanky, but I still want to like land hits quickly. I want to land hits so they at least won't be shooting at me. More ammo. Because you kind of stun lock them. Oh, collect some ammo. Oh. Oh, wait, do these use the same? I don't know. I thought it was like almost out of ammo for this. I guess not. I don't know. I just picked up a sniper rifle, I guess. I think I saw him drop his gun. You okay, buddy? Oh, he's taking the... I see. Oh, that works. Unlocking everything in this game is impossible. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool that there's like a lot of stuff to do, but it seems like it would be incredibly arduous of a task. Can't think of any other FPS you've streamed. I'm trying to think myself. I played PS1 Doom. That was pretty sick. Not sure. Did I ever stream like Doom Eternal or anything like that? I don't think I did. Good. That would have hurt quite a bit, I imagine. That was pretty bad, but okay. Now to see if we can figure out... how this works. Even the hardest unlocks are super easy for a speedrunner. I mean, that's like saying, well, even jumping 4 meters is pretty easy if you're a, you know, if you compete at long jump at the Olympics. Everyone can do that. Like, it's okay if you're at the world-class elite level or if you're at very specialized training. Doesn't mean that it's not... Like, I mean, sure, you can reach the point where you can do it in 90 seconds, but how many years does it take to get to that point? Okay. Oh, fucking diagonals. Okay, so... Do I like... I guess I like toss it, right? Covert modem installed. Sick. Very covert. I mean, I appreciate what you're saying though, Mike, that like even the stuff that seems impossible on the surface, there are tricks and techniques you can learn to make it very doable. But that doesn't mean that it's... that most people are going to get to that point, or that it's within the scope of what we're trying to do here. But explode. This is an explode. Well, I guess there's a bunch of bullet holes, so I guess it's done exploding. I am curious to see if some of this stuff with the analog aiming, how that is on a real N64, because I have no way of knowing kind of how accurate this is. Yeah, win back is a pretty like well-known game for its sort of proto like cover shooter mechanics. A lot of these dudes like noticing a silent gunshot, and like the instant that happens, they start fucking taking off. I think I have well-honed soldier instincts, I guess. The bullet didn't even collide with anything close to him. Well, I guess he heard it zing by his head. Alright, there we go. So we'll see. I wonder if our this dude up here. Nope. Okay. Luckily, that tiny little giant explosion is silent. Yeah, I don't plan on finishing the game on 00 Agent. I was just kind of curious to play the first mission on 00 to just get a sense of what to expect. Like, I don't think the game's going to be its most fun on 00. The thing is, like, it would be cool to see all the objectives, to kind of see the full scope of the kind of adaptation of the film. But I also feel pretty sure that I'm not going to want to deal with everything that comes with that. Alright, well, whatever. I guess we're doing this. I'm like bumping into something. And because you, like... I can go down in difficulty, but I can't go up. So at least... Oh, this is kind of interesting. I didn't really know about this path. Or remember, anyway. It'd be nice to try to finish one stage on 00 to get like a kind of a benchmark of sorts. Wow, this whole little dock section. No, like, I guess I don't see it in speedruns, which is not something I follow, but it's like about the extent that I have any, like, any... I would have watched speedruns of this game, and that's like the only extent that I've actually seen or interacted with this game in the last 20 years, pretty much. So anything that doesn't show up or flashes by, it's like, wow, is this in the game? I had no idea. Covert modem's still in the list here, even though I've tossed it. So intercept data backup. What the hell does that mean? I installed the modem. I thought the modem was supposed to do that. Where's the briefing? Oh, there we go. The facility should be destroyed, and that's pretty much the next mission. Easiest way to gain entrance to the weapons factory will be to get down to the face of the dam. Q had an idea. Information concerning shipping and contact is stored in a computer system. Is a covert modem connected to their satellite link? We can... Oh, okay, okay. So I connected the modem so that we can, like, use the... so we can do the hack. But I have to access the computer to actually do the hack. So I have to find where that is. So that's probably in the basement section. That makes sense. So I guess I can start on this end. I don't know, because I don't know where it is. I guess we can start searching over here and see how that goes. Barrels have me a little bit spooked. Is he fighting there? That could very easily be an emulation thing. Even in the movie, they're like, don't shoot the barrels! So, well, we're at the end of the hallway here, but I wonder if the computer stuff is like at the very other end. Well, I guess we'll find out. There should be paths here somewhere to go up to the other towers, I would think. Maybe not. I probably shouldn't use this weapon. Like, leaning against stuff, he starts doing this, like, walking bob, like, makes it impossible to aim. Yeah, so this is the next tower, I guess. Box. Yeah, there's, like, so much of this stage I feel like you never see, and like, whenever I would have played this a tiny bit when I was younger, I would have most likely have been playing on the easiest difficulty. So it's just like, you run to the dam, you jump, and that's the stage. And there's, like, so much other shit. And honestly, it would have been kind of easy to miss it. Which is also kind of not a reason to play, like, or rather, not an argument in favor of choosing to try to beat this on 00, but a reason why it would be cool to be able to do that. I'm being accosted by a bunch of fucking Rutger Hauers. I like that you can at least see if they drop their gun. That's like the giveaway that they're dead. I guess it makes sense that the computer thing would be on the same end as the actual satellite and not the other end of the stage. That's fine. Oh, fuck. There's a dude behind me. I forgot. I meant to reload. I guess you automatically reload when you swap weapons, which is a little weird, but convenient. Expert marksmanship. Yeah, I got to opening this door last time, and then I got killed because I got shot in the back. That's pretty satisfying. Shit, let's not shoot the computers. Did I get him? No. How the fuck does one intercept? Oh! Okay. Offsite data backup initiated. I'm assuming I just need to wait for that. Completed. Okay. I think we're done. Oh, press... No! Cancel. Press left, I guess. Yeah, there we go. Bungee jump from platform is all we have left to do. Sick. It should be basically smooth sailing, one would hope. I missed a gun there, but that's fine. He did this very quickly in the movie, but also he the scene starts with him on the bungee thing, right? Like he doesn't have to do all this shit, or if it did, he did it off screen. Like this part. It is a little funny that the camera like goes like this and then you fades back and he's like standing up there, but it's pretty sick. Very gray, very muddy, but still pretty cool. The bungee cord is just very thin. Mission status completed. Neutralize all alarms. Install covert modem. Intercept data backup. Bungee jump from platform. So I'm assuming if you didn't plant the modem first, if you do the data backup thing, maybe you fuck it up. Statistics, 16 minutes. So I want to say that the game does give you some kind of par time to beat, but maybe it doesn't have that for stage 1, or maybe it's difficulty specific or something. I'm tempted to go to Agent, just like run through this level for some catharsis, because it's just 36 kills. All right. Oh wait, fuck, are we still on 00 Agent? Yeah, we are. Each level, only one of the 3 difficulties has like a baseline, like a part-time, I guess. Okay, I see. Yeah, because I just vaguely recalled seeing it. Gain entry to the laboratory area. Contact 00 Agent. Rendezvous with 006. Destroy all tanks in bottling room. Minimize scientist casualties. Yeah, I feel like I vaguely recall getting to this stage and then like, I'm kind of done with this game. I see, Mike. Thank you for the explanation. Background. Inside the chemical weapons facility, you should quickly and efficiently proceed to the bottling area and place demolition charges on the main gas tanks. Political considerations demand that collateral damage is minimized on this mission. Non-military personnel should be disregarded. You'll be working with 006 on this assignment. Bottling room is the rendezvous point. Don't forget to contact our 00 Agent scientist before you leave, and warn him to get out. He will provide you with a decoder for the final security door. There are no women or casinos for 1,000 miles, 007. So even you will be able to concentrate on this mission. That's a pretty good writing. Like this kind of the sassy, snappy attitude for some of the characters, or even any degree of personality from characters from the films, isn't really something we've gotten to experience much of in the game. A little bit here and there, but not much. Now listen carefully, Bond. These bombs will be armed as soon as the last one is set. Don't be too close when you set them off, or you'll go up in flames as well. And while you're at it, please try and bring back that door opener undamaged for once. Too much rough handling like the last mission, and it might go wrong at a bad time. Honestly, 007, sometimes I think you damage your equipment on purpose. I love how they politely say minimize scientist casualties. What they really mean is you better not kill any of them, you little shit. Yeah, that's closer to M's attitude in the film, actually. That scene when she gives her like speech to Bond is so good. That's like the best scene in the movie. Like instantly solidifying Judi Dench as M as like an iconic character. These chemicals could prove to be a match even for pheromones, James. Don't take too many risks. So I'm starting to think at this point, I said before that like I wouldn't want to go through a bunch of stages on the easier difficulty level and then like having to go back to the first one to start doing it on 00 or something. But now at this point I'm kind of thinking it is probably wiser to dude, I can't speak. I've been streaming for 10 hours, so I'm like 70% of a typical daily rig stream. But as a mere mortal human, I'm struggling. What I was trying to say is, it probably does make sense to play on the easiest difficulty to like learn the layout of the map and like familiarizing yourself with the environments and tacking on the objectives one by one. I guess the problem is like if you want to have the option of going up a difficulty level, then you have to still replay every level. But I like even after going through the first mission, just like with taking so much damage, I think 00 Agent is honestly not a good way to learn a level. It's cool that the game does let you play like that. It is a little bit insane that the cursor starts on 00, kind of implying that that's the default level. But this is a British game, so I guess we should get used to British difficulty. So like cruising through Agent on every level might be very smooth and casual, but levels are still short enough. There's like quite a few levels, and you know, this one took 16 minutes. Well, I guess it took 52 minutes or so, but that was being very careful and trying to explore and figure out, and also like having tried a few things. And the time I spent dying and fucking up on 00 Agent could probably have been spent clearing it on Agent, and then like going back on 00. I don't know. I don't like. I think we can go down to Secret Agent. But I think playing on 00 is just going to be a little too stressful. But I think, yeah, there we go. But if I pick Secret Agent, the objectives are actually the same, or yeah. That's good. So that means, or at least for this stage, we're not missing any important cool content. But of course, it's going to change on later missions. So I got to go to the bottling room, and I need to contact our 00 Agent scientist on the inside, who I have no idea who it is or how to find him or what I'm supposed to do. I think the briefing is a little bit... it's a little insufficient, I feel like. But that's okay, we can figure shit out. So we need to put bombs... I know we were going to meet up with 006 and he's going to give us a little bit of dialogue, maybe explain some things. We'll see how it goes. Did it say what we're supposed to... Oh, there we go. Proceed to the bottling area and place demolition charges on the main gas tanks. It's kind of what they're doing in the film. Okay, let's see how this goes. Chemical warfare facility number 2. Oh yeah, of course we get to snipe Toilet Man in the head. It's like kind of in the movie. Whoa! I almost fell down here. And snipe his hat. Okay, the gun went flying. I think I've been spotted. Like, does that screw up stealth? Like, who the fuck knows? Oh, that guy didn't see. Whoa. Highly secretive so far. I guess I can't. Well, whatever. Oh, the music's pretty good. Oh, he's wearing a helmet. It's really fucking funny the way they, like, AI routines instantly trigger. Ooh, I see armor. everything looks the exact same. Like, this is my memory of playing this as a kid too, like fucking instantly getting lost. Like, no landmarks. There's a big fog throughout all the hallways. But follow the exit signs? I don't know. Do that little sidestep. Clearance B key card. Okay, that's probably a good thing to have. Going in a circle. I think I am. Fine, we're exploring. I need to get to the bottling facility. I guess maybe that's where we're gonna find scientists. Do I use key card here? Oh, oh shit. Aiming is a little awkward. Security door activated. Okay, that opened the door. Can we go that way? Go to the left here. That door close again? I heard a door noise. Yep. Okay. I'm understanding how to navigate this space. Doing okay. Have to stand. There we go. Store closing. Okay, we're through. Oh. Fucking hat hitbox. This guy is sleeping or what? Well, he is now. Take your stuff in the wall. Whoa! That doesn't sound good. Maybe he shot a crate. Is stealth? Probably not. I was gonna say, is stealth gonna be a factor here? Well, I don't need the ammo, and I don't want to lock myself out. Fuck's sake. Oh, sick, you dropped a key card. Okay, just so you know, M, I cannot be held responsible if these trigger-happy goons shoot all the scientists, okay? Okay, is that the bottling facility? Maybe, okay. Let's check in on that later. Let me double check. What was the objectives? Gain entry to the laboratory area. So I'm assuming these are essentially in linear order. Maybe that's the laboratory area. We should contact the scientist first. If I do something, well, okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, that's no reaction. I like that you get a little text message that like something happens when you interact with something, at least. I'm assuming, and I hope anyway, that it's a good thing that these guys go taking off. Like getting them out of my hair, at least. So wait, are these the tanks that I should be planting explosives on? I don't know. I'm guessing not, because like kind of at the beginning, like we haven't done anything else. I guess this is neither the bottling room nor the lab area. So I guess we'll advance for now. It'll be a challenge just to sort of trying to parse the briefing, figure out. Right. Sidestepping or like leaning gets a little awkward. Man, that's a pretty impressive amount of enemies. When you like automatically zoom in. Am I getting shots from the left? Yep, sure am. Like, it's a pretty gigantic decrease of like enemy density compared to the first stage. Luckily, we're a little more bulletproof on Secret Agent. It does feel like a little bit of relief that enemies are basically deaf and completely oblivious to what's happening in the next room for the most part. Are these rooms connected? Like super lost again. So all I remember about this is there's like this Dr. Doak guy, right? And I don't know if he's like randomized. I guess like because I remember the name and there's like some kind of dialogue happening. I assume that that's like the thing that we're supposed to do. This guy looks happy to be here. I guess he's like, he has like a goatee or something. I don't know. Let's see if we get a bearded man to provide some kind of reaction and see if that helps us achieve something. Yeah, see? Time to leave, Dr. Doak. You'll need this decoder to open the bottling room door. Good luck, 007. Right, that's what someone said in the briefing. Face textures are so good. All these fucking rare developers. Okay. I have no idea where to go, but I should probably not be running alongside all these dudes. That's not gonna end well. Proof bond code 2501 sounds suspiciously like a robot name, but in the case that you are human, thanks for the follow. Ah, fuck. The aiming is like a little bit of a liability. It's cool, but it's fucking tricky to use. Good sound effect. Doak has 6. Yeah, that's kind of what I recall. Like he might be. You are human. All right, cool. glad to have you. I've been getting some weird like followers with like suspicious names, so I'm always a little bit wary. Twitch can get weird like that sometimes, so no offense meant. Oh yeah, there's the remote mine. Door decoder. So do I use that here? Try. Oh, he's on the door or on this little slot. Oh, sick. It did work. That's pretty cool. You hear little, like, key tapping noises. Oh, there he is. So wait, hang on. Let me check our objectives for a second here. Okay, we must have... The lab area thing must have flashed by when we didn't notice it. So there's 006 down there. So enemies are probably gonna flood in here at some point. Glad you can make it, 007. For England, James. Picture C completed. For England, Alec. Right, so... how do I place these? For this to work. I've got 5. So there's 5 pairs of these, so I guess you stick them in the middle. Like so. I don't want to stand fucking right next to it. Okay, we casually walk out and strike a pose. I was gonna say, like, we're supposed to just leave him, right? Ah, we did it. All right, sick. I was like, okay, this is what happens in the movie, right? Except in the movie, there's a little bit more of a shootout, and he plants the bombs, the things, and they don't exactly explode. I would think I could have walked out that doorway and maybe triggered it. I'm fucking spooked thinking about explosions in this game. All I know is that the explosions linger for like 2 minutes. So you shoot this wooden crate a mile away and it starts combusting. You casually walk up to it, it's like you just take like half your fucking health bar. So I think it's bigger, giant, explosive tanks would not be good. But I was standing surprisingly close to them, and I figured like I would tap this and I would have a little bit of a timer, but no, they exploded instantly. But I was just walking around and found an exit, walked out. Clean. Yeah, imagine if they made you push the little cart. Yeah, in the movie, he's like taking cover behind this big cart with explosive barrels or whatever. Yeah, that was surprisingly comfortable. I didn't really feel like we had too much trouble or anything. Satisfying indeed. So that's, oh no, I was gonna say, so that should be it, but no, we have to like fucking escape, right? We're still in the pre-credits scene of the film, by the way. But I mean, that's a kind of a Bond movie tradition, right? Because the opening scene is often this big action set piece, right? So I think it was License to Kill on the Amiga has like 5 stages, and 2 or 3 of them are like set in the opening scene of the film. Like the pre-credits scene is like 3 out of 5 stages or something. 1153, 73%. Yeah, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. I think we can comfortably continue on Secret Agent at least. So this one, you know, based on the objectives being the same, you could die a lot quicker, but it doesn't seem like 00 Agent would be that much harder. But on, I think stage 1, like Agent, you just have to jump off the platform, and I think Secret Agent you have to do the alarms, but you don't have to do the hacking thing. So that's like having to go into the underground tunnels on stage 1 like makes a huge difference. That's where most of the enemies are, but here it seems like it would be kind of similar just based on the description, but I guess that doesn't have to be telling the whole story. What's up, Jimmy Poopins? Need to hydrate. Oh, there's no body armor. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, because I feel like I definitely remembered having body armor on stage 1. So that not being there, I guess, would make a major difference. That's fair. Anyway, we're not gonna do 00, but we got through stage 1. We got that, you know, a feel for it, and I'm happy like that. Secret Agent James Bond, Mission 1, Arkhangelsk, Part 3, Runway. Primary objectives: find plane ignition key, destroy missile battery, escape in plane. Yeah, we don't get to do a fancy motorcycle chase, diving off the platform. Because he like, yeah, he falls, he catches up with the plane or something. I forget how it works, but he does the fucking Mission Impossible 7 stunt of driving off a ledge on a bike to like catch a plane in midair or something, and then he like wrestles control of the plane and flies off, which is pretty sick. Which I guess, you know, this is a reasonable approximation that the N64 can actually manage, and that doesn't require them to do fucking driving like mechanics or anything. It's gonna be a while until we get like a 3D action game with drive. Well, I say gonna be a while. I guess I don't really know what the next couple of games will bring, but I was gonna say this doesn't have it, but it does have the tank, right? So I guess it does have some driving. My cursor. Background: the service runway is the obvious escape route from the Arkhangelsk chemical weapons facility. Yeah, because it's that thing where this stage opens, right? You are on this little chute, like that's in the film. Like he goes through this kind of supply. What do you call it? Like this conveyor belt, whatever, like mechanic for moving crates and shit. I like that we get an additional briefing for M in between blowing up the tanks and escaping through this like little tunnel. 006 knew this was going to be a risky mission. His sacrifice should give you enough time to find an aircraft. Keep a cool head and you'll get out alive. Just be certain to knock out the heavy gun emplacements and missile battery or they'll swat you out of the air like a silly fly. No time for gadgets here, 007. Just improvise with what you can find close to hand. Brace under pressure, as always, James. Alright, so let's... Destroy missile battery, escape in plane. I recall, like... Just from watching videos about speedruns of this game, there's like some grenade strats and shit on this stage where you like toss grenades at yourself to damage boost. So I guess there's grenades, which maybe we're meant to use to like blow up this missile thing. I don't know. I guess we'll have to find it. Do we like keep our weapons or anything? Of course not. Yeah, here's this little thing, right? The music feels very unfamiliar, but timed mines. Interesting. This door leads back into the gas plant. But hey, that's good. That's like, they put the door there for verisimilitude, but they put a helpful message explaining why you can't go back there. I think that's sick. I just sniped him, but I guess we sort of did. This music's like not familiar to me at all. Is this weapons? Hand grenades, there you go. Music's cool. Is that a key? Ignition key. Objective A completed. So we have to take out missile battery. I'm assuming that's like a missile launcher thing. Is that what they're talking about? Like the surface to air thing? So I guess we are meant to use our explosives for that. Can we identify what and where that is? I want to say this is like a super tiny stage, right? Because we're on a runway and the plane's going to be there somewhere. That's a facility. I don't know what a missile battery is or what it looks like. This doesn't look like one of them. Well, we might as well explore. Oh, there's a tank here. Can we drive this tank? Probably not going anywhere there. We can. Okay, sick. I didn't know there was a tank on this level. Oh, wait, okay. How do I... No? Oh, I have to switch. Oh, there we go. I have to like switch to the tank weapon. Oh, there we go. Killing dudes with this is like kind of satisfying, but not that easy. I don't know if I can pick up ammo by driving over it with a tank. Is that a missile battery? Looks like it could be. A lot of explosions there. Okay, if I start aiming while I'm driving... Oh, objective B completed. I hit something. Alright, I guess we can just drive over this guy. Alright, there we go. Let's get in the plane. I think we're done. What's up, Tanagasa and Raiders? I think we did it? That's a pretty simple stage. Yeah, we did it. Oh, I'm stressing out a little bit. We're playing GoldenEye. And I'm trying to play with this godforsaken thing. Just in time for a GG. Indeed.
Love you.
Epipepepe, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome, Raiders, by the way. Sorry if I'm a little, like, flustered and struggling to speak here. Not only am I being stressed out by N64 first-person shooting, I've also been streaming for 10.5 hours, so I'm a little bit loopy. But you are joining us in the midst of Games Bond, my little project of chronologically exploring the history of James Bond 007 video games. We are currently on game number 17 out of 50, which is GoldenEye for the N64. It's quite the leap from the games prior, mostly old computer games of various kinds, but we had a few 2D console games before this too. Our first 3D game of the challenge, our first first-person shooter, our first N64 game. This is probably the first N64 game I've ever streamed, actually. A lot of firsts for this challenge, for this stream. But I've been looking forward to this. I have long held that this is a game that I have more respect for than I have, like, you know, affinity or fondness for. But it's really cool, and it's exciting to play this, like, in the context of what Bond games were previous to this, because obviously there's a bit of a gap. The most recent game before this was 1993, and it was on the Mega Drive and Master System. So to go from that to this is a bit of a leap. You know, in fidelity and complexity and faithfulness to the source material and everything. But I've been looking forward to this because I feel like it's a game that a lot of people love, a lot of people enjoy, a lot of people would have thoughts and feelings and memories of. And it's always interesting. It's kind of a rare treat for me to play stuff on stream that I'm very ignorant of, but chat probably kind of got my back. There's always going to be someone around who's an expert on this game, and probably a lot of people who aren't experts, but at least, you know, are fairly familiar. And that's usually, I mean, I often play games that I know jack shit about, but usually they're you know, obscure stuff that no one else knows any better. So playing stuff that you know, and I think a lot of people who watch my stream enjoy that part. That's how I feel, you know, watching people kind of blind play stuff and watching stuff that I'm not familiar with, so I can learn more about games that I didn't know about. But it's also, well, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, right? Watching someone play a game you really like can be a frustrating experience, but it can also be really exciting and fun to watch someone get to experience something for the first time. Strictly speaking, this isn't my first time playing this, but I'm not very familiar with the game. When this game came out back in the day, I was an avid PC first-person shooter player. I'd been playing Marathon for years and got into Quake, and like I played first-person shooters on the internet, like on PC, when this game came out. So when I saw this game, I thought the mission structure stuff was very novel, but the controls just felt incredibly clunky. The game was so slow and it's awkward, and the graphics are pretty rough and everything like that. But even so, even at the time, I thought it was kind of neat and I respected it, but I didn't much care for it. And in more modern times, like I feel similar, but I can simultaneously, I think, have kind of more respect for it than I did back then, because I have a greater perspective of all the stuff that this game did that other games kind of didn't. How much innovation there really is, how much polish and how much kind of effort goes into kind of capturing the flavor of the source material and all that stuff. But I think I'm also able to enjoy it more, purely on the basis of like having developed, I should say, this kind of mindset of appreciating, trying my best at least to appreciate everything I play, and trying to find something to appreciate about everything. Like, yeah, the frame rate sucks and it's a blurry, weird mess, and there's some things that are kind of ugly. The difficulty balancing is a little all over the place. Like, I don't think this game's a masterpiece. Like, there's a lot of things that you can nitpick and complain about, But there are things that are very satisfying and kind of cool and just fun. Like the sound design is really good. It's like satisfying to shoot dudes. So I think it's a cool game, and I'm enjoying it. I like to think, at least, that I'm like better equipped to enjoy this game at this point in history than I might have been previously. There's a ROM hack to turn off some of the blurring. Yeah, I mean, I could do a lot of things to make this a more pleasant experience, but that's kind of not why we're here. The way we've been kind of torturing ourselves with some of these games, I think that should be clear. No, but jokes aside, like I would have loved to have played this on original hardware if I had the option, but short of that option, I want to kind of get the sort of unfiltered experience, so to speak. Matt Hill, thank you for the follow. Because I want to be able to experience these games. Like, it's not important that it's like super faithful for the sake of like the sanctity of the experience or anything like that, but because I'm doing this as partially an educational venture, I have the Xbox version. I could play the Xbox version at like 4K 60 FPS or whatever with modern twin stick FPS controls, and it would in a lot of ways be a more pleasant experience, but it wouldn't give me, if I finished that game, I could have an opinion on GoldenEye as a game, but it wouldn't really be, I wouldn't be able to have this idea of placing this in context of what the original version was, because getting to play the previous, like playing the games in chronological order, if I play a 2022, 2023 or whatever version of this game, it skews the perspective of that quite a lot, in my opinion. So that's why I try to get kind of authentic. I mean, to a degree, I suppose. Like when we played some of the computer games for Commodore 64 or like Operation Stealth on the Amiga, we probably had slightly more convenient loading times and like handling of save files and stuff like that, and I think that's okay. But something like this, like I'm fine with the frame rate and whatever it is, just to kind of get that pure experience, so to speak. All right, 3 minutes 12. Yeah, that was by far the shortest stage so far. Felt pretty good. I guess it didn't count a lot of statistics here for my usage of the tank. But yeah, I guess you could use hand grenades against the missile battery. But I thought it was sick that we found a tank and used it. That's not in the movie. He drives a motorcycle in the movie, but a tank will do just fine. All right, so we're making quite the leap here. We were 9 years in the past, and now we're in present day, 1995. I'm curious, actually, just to... Yeah, so we're actually making pretty damn good progress. Like, smooth progress so far. I mean, we played the first stage on 00 Agent, and that was like the longest stage. Yeah, Lamasar, we mentioned that briefly. It's like, I remember seeing that, and it's like, that's how I know that there's grenades on this stage, and I vaguely remember the layout of the little house on the left at the beginning. But it's cool, like, having speedruns be, like, it's not like I've followed speedruns religiously or anything, but speedruns are the way in which I've seen and consumed this game, primarily over the past, however many years, 10 years. And obviously there's going to be a lot of aspects of the game that you never get to witness, not only literal parts of the levels that are skipped if you're watching speedruns, but also watching people who are super good at the game. You don't get an appreciation for like what the aiming is like, or that there's a tank parked on the runway stage and stuff like that. So it's cool to, like, it's a fun experience. Like, I wouldn't say that I know the levels or the game that well, but I have fragments here and there, and you get to sort of piece together the missing links, in between those little snippets that you might remember. But also, you might have a sense of what you think it is, and then you actually play it, and there's so much more to explore and shit to do and things to see that you didn't even know were there. So you kind of they feel like a little bonus. Like, wow, there's all this stuff I didn't realize. Yeah, I remember the tank. Like, we watched the movie like 2 days ago, and I remember the tank level because that's like a set piece. I just remember you have to like drive through the streets, and there's like a bunch of mines that you want to dodge and stuff like that. So I knew that tank driving was in the game. I just didn't realize that there was like another tank in this stage. Pretty cool. It's a bit past midnight, and I've been streaming for 10.5 hours, so I'm getting pretty dang tired. But I think we can give Surface a shot here and see how that goes. And we'll see what's in store. Mission 2, Severnaya, Part 1, Surface. Primary objectives: power down communications dish, obtain safe key, steal building plans, enter base via ventilation tower. So they're embellishing quite a little bit here compared to the movie. What's up, Jimmy Poopins? Reminding to hydrate. I'm like running out of hydration here. Running dangerously low. It's gonna be our last ration. Because in the movie, right, like, the base is like already exploded and shit, right? Because Odomov comes there to steal GoldenEye, and then they kill the dudes and blow everything up, and everyone's dead or missing, and Isabella Skorupko happens to be like in the kitchen making coffee, so she crawls out of the wreckage. I reckon this is not gonna be, but they see her on like a satellite image, so they kind of go there to try to find her or something. Actually, I guess Bond doesn't even go to the base, does he? Like, does he find her there? I forget. It's already hazy, but it's a little bit different. Spy satellite has detected increased levels of activity at an old observatory complex near Severnaya in Russia. Other sources have confirmed the shipment of a large amount of computer hardware to that location and an influx of skilled personnel. It might be coincidence that there's a new head of the Soviet Space Weapons Division, your old friend General Odomov. It might not. Penetrate the base and find out what is going on. Building plans for the underground section would be ideal. They're unlikely to be just lying around, so look for a safe. There's bound to be someone you can borrow a key from. Yeah, so I guess we're like intercepting the whole GoldenEye theft by infiltrating the base. And it's kind of cool. They're like changing the plot a little bit to, you know, to make levels out of it. I've looked over the recon photographs, and I advise you to stay clear of the main bunker entrance by the helipad. However, there seems to be a ventilation tower nearby, which would make an excellent spot for covert entry. You ought to power down the comms dish too. No point in letting tell the whole of Russia you've dropped in. So this is kind of summarizing, or like embellishing, fleshing out a little bit the actual mission objectives. So it's not like some hints so much as like this is what you have to do. It's cold in Siberia, James. Make sure you wrap up warm and take care to protect your extremities. Oh yeah, this is where we get the snow mission Bond outfit. With a warm and fuzzy parka. Severnaya installation, Siberian Plateau. 4 years ago. Wait, what? Oh shit, okay. Oh, that's interesting. So it's not the actual, like, okay. Hey, so we get a little extra story bit of Bond, like, coincidentally just having infiltrated this base prior to the events of the movie. Okay, sure, why not? Music's so cool. So don't go to the helipad, find the ventilation thing. Look at what the sleeves are different. Power down communications dish. So enter base is the final thing. Okay, so that's, I guess it's just the transition to the next stage, because this is the surface. So we're not inside the stage. I see. These look like little guard outposts. Is there anything here? Oh, just a channel. Okay. Just a box. Okay. run around the snowy Siberian fields. Kind of cool, like the ambient wind noise, like part of the music, or it sounds like it could be at least. Ooh. Sniping a little pixel soup across the stage. It's pretty satisfying. K47, KF. I always read it as K47. They're just standing in the midst of a bunch of barrels. Oh, wait, he wasn't alone. The way they get kind of triggered to start running into range is just funny. All these explosive shipping materials. Grenade rounds. Okay, I guess we get a grenade launcher here somewhere. I guess we probably need that to destroy the... I'm assuming we're destroying the comms dish. It seems to be... Door's locked. How we destroy it? Get to see what's inside. Table. I can't stand on my little tippy toes and crouch, but oh, looks like a thing. Blinkley 604. What's up? Thank you for the follow. Oh, that looks like a comms dish. Okay, I see. I get freaked out whenever I see these barrels, knowing that even crates and alarms and probably a shoebox could explode with lethal power. Oh, okay. Cool. Transparent polygons. Ah! Can't squeeze through this man-sized gap. Alright, that's fine. So there's a lock. Maybe the safe is in there and we need the key or something. Aiming is so tricky. But yeah, the sound design does... Oh, shit! Sound design does so much. Oh, there's the clob. Yeah, I think this is supposed to be a scorpion, right? Yeah. Take a quick look. Yeah. That's a scorpion. Got a smaller magazine, but... Oh, shit. Wait. Highly covert mission here. I'm not sure what's ricocheting off of the snow, but good sound effect. Okay. Oh, he's got the clob, like firing with the one-handed grip. So what did Q say about the ventilation? Wow, he looks like he's got the safe key. I guess that's the safe key. It's like the size of my arm. It's like assault rifle sized golden key. Can I pick it up, please? There we go. A large key. Grenade launcher. We didn't get an objective completion though. So maybe we just use this gigantic arm-sized key to enter that rickety cabin. Yeah, Levisar, when you look at the clob, it's just, you see, it's like it's got this folded stock. It folds over the front of it. And the fact that it looks so bright gray is also a little bit funky. And the Like the wooden grip is kind of distinctive too, and of course you don't see that when you're aiming with it. Like fucking dying. I guess that's because I got fucking exploded. Someone's shooting at me. If we die, it should be reasonably easy enough to redo it if we don't get exploded by a grenade, I guess. Is that a dude? Sure is. Snipe. Oh, okay. Got a weird lucky hit there. Oh. There's some weird stuff happening. You see at the top of the screen? Like, it looks like there's something there, because it's something to do with, like, I don't know, the aliasing of the geometry of the, like, the plane of the wood, like the tree line. There's a safe key. Nice. Can't do anything here. So, still have to find the safe, though. Oh yeah, that's the explosion. But yeah, the dudes are firing the club like a handgun with one hand. But because they never... I mean, they technically the model Bond's left hand for holding the watch, but you never see him holding any of the guns. Remember being ever so slightly disappointing seeing the KF... I can't say KF7. My brain says K47 every time. First time versus the box art. Starting to glance over to the illustration here. That's the Japanese box, of course. I'm not sure. Like the main picture, I think is the same. I don't know. But in the movie, yeah, it is like it's not the AK-47 because it's like the AKSU-74 or whatever it's called. Because it's a much more compact version. And it does have like the foldable stock that goes around the side. This is pretty accurate to that, but I'm not sure if there's other pictures or media. Yeah, I'm fucking almost dead here. Gonna start clobbing me any second there. Got him. Let's see what's inside here. Yeah, I'm not gonna click that link, Jeff, because it's gonna... weird things might happen. I'm a little afraid. The full screen emulator and shit going on here, but take your word for it. Okay. Looks like some security shit. Communications dish powered down. Okay, no need to explode it. Then it makes me a little unsure what I'm getting all these explosives for. Maybe they're used on some other difficulty. Okay. Steel building plans, right, because that's what they expected to be in a safe. Enter base via ventilation tower. So that shouldn't be the same as the communications dish, right? I guess it wouldn't surprise me if you can explode it, and that's like an alternate method for completing the objective. Did I see someone's arm clip through the wall there? I'm getting stuck by the door. I think that's the case, yeah. Oh, I see, okay. Well, I think we're done in this building. This stage I have like zero recollection of ever seeing. So, like, the collision for picking up items is like weirdly finicky. It's like this level is impressively open for a 90s console FPS for sure. Okay, that looks like where I can dive in. So I need to find the plants first. But like inevitably it's not going to be open enough that you can't find your way around. Like you can hug the walls and probably do okay. High tension sniper duel. Pretty good. I don't think I've been over here. Oh, there's the helipad where it's like, oh, don't go that way. Enter through the other thing. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. So this is not... Okay. I guess maybe that's where we're exiting the next stage. I need to find the fucking safe. For England. What's up, Mr. Raiden? Yes, we need to find the safe for England. So there's probably one of these 12 cabins that we missed. They all kind of look the same. Ugh. Anything over here? Looks like the forest clearing. Yeah, that looks like a little isolated cabin over there. That could be a safe cabin. Is there a fence around it? Think there is? Looks like it. Well, all right, we picked up a grenade launcher. This seems highly volatile. Let's not use that. Try using the club. Close quarters combat. Fucking terrified of these explosive crates. Oh, there's a safe. Little hat, the book. Oops. Picked up bunker plans. All right, I think that's it. Nice. Enter base via ventilation tower. So let's see if we can, if my interpretation of what these things are was correct. Do a little bit of sightseeing first, I guess. Oh, look at all these books. Explosive crates. Nothing hidden in this little corner. Nothing at all over here. That's fine. Probably stick to it slightly. Take tactical roll, dude. Longer range weapon. I'm surprised. Maybe my perception was just colored by playing the first stage on 00 Agent. But so far, like... it's pretty, like... smooth and... easy progress, I'd say, as I'm about to get sniped in the leg and killed. Okay, I should not use the... fucking grenade launcher. Like, we've cleared the next couple of stages first try. I hope this is what we're supposed to do. This looks like it could be ventilation, right? Oh yeah, huh. Just seeing what this looks like down there, it's like, oh yeah, there's a stage that looks like that in the beginning. I remember that. This is pretty cool and satisfying too. For England. A little canned animation of him aiming sideways. Yeah, difficulty will ramp up, I'm sure. I'm just like... a lot of these stages feel like... I mean, yeah, it was mentioned before, right? Like the first stage, the 00 Agent difficulty on stage 1 is like weirdly high and it's weirdly involved, and like the one objective that's added for 00 makes the stage like 3 times as long. And that doesn't seem to have necessarily been the case for these other stages. Mission status completed. Oh, there we go. We got a target time for the secret agent on this level. But yeah, knowing what you're supposed to do, running, like, even if there's maybe some random elements, you know, I'm obviously taking my time, strolling through it pretty casually. I can see how, like, I don't know about like speedrunning, but like trying to learn, like seeing this and go like, ooh, can I clear this in 3 minutes? Like, I'm already feeling not the immediate compulsion to go back and do it right now, but if I wasn't streaming this or doing this, whatever, and if I hadn't been, you know, if I wasn't 11 hours deep under other circumstances, I could see myself seeing this and go, ooh, I want to try that. That's a sign of a game that's fun. Like, you finish something and there's an incentive to do it slightly differently or slightly faster or slightly better, and you don't immediately feel like, oh, I'm so glad to be done with it. You're kind of like, oh yeah, I can actually go back to it. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So let's do that. Let's not even spoil ourselves. Let's leave bunker for the next time. Pause the timer right there, 1 hour 48. I was hoping to be able to dedicate a bit more time to GoldenEye tonight, but the unboxing and San Diego Comic-Con news recap ended up taking like 8 hours instead of like 3 I hoped. Yeah, so we've done I think it's fair to call it a mega stream. We did a lot of stuff today. We had a lot of news to catch up on, and a lot of Power Rangers action figures. Well, one of those, but a lot of various action figures, including Power Rangers, a bunch of Gundam model kits, Batman the Animated Series on Blu-ray. I just had a bunch of shit show up in the mail, so we did a big old unboxing, and then we watched a lot of action figure news from Comic-Con and talked about that. Very fun, chill Saturday stream. Very satisfying to wrap it up with some GoldenEye, and feels very good to just kind of dip my toes and already clear 4 stages. I was expecting it to be a little bit more of a arduous process, but even if we get to some harder stages eventually, I'm enjoying the game a lot so far. It feels surprisingly good despite the controls being very clunky, and the shooting is surprisingly satisfying. So I'm looking forward to continuing this. I think we will probably continue this on Monday. I'm gonna need to rest up tomorrow, that's for sure. And not just from a long stream today, but it's been a busy week, and my sleep schedule is getting a bit mixed up, and I don't know if it's gonna get any better tonight. I do still have a big box of games from Japan that I'm waiting for, that is likely to show up at the middle of next week. So I might have that in time for a Wednesday unboxing stream. But we'll also have to see how Bond goes on Monday, because if we get really far into GoldenEye, maybe I will feel like there's a possibility of us finishing this on a Wednesday stream, in which case maybe we'll try to do that. I don't know, but for now I think I'm amped up enough about GoldenEye to want to continue at the next stream. So tune back in on Monday, starting in the afternoon or early evening European time. I'm on holiday, so stream schedule can be a little bit, can shift slightly, but normally I start at 6 p.m. Central European Summer Time. So sometime around then on Monday evening, we will return to Games Bond. But yeah, I'm delighted to finally be playing this game, and I'm glad that it's all like functioning and everything. But this is even like the one I kind of know. The Tomorrow Never Dies and World Is Not Enough games and all that stuff, like basically once we're past this point, everything except Nightfire, I think, is going to be like basically completely blind, so that's going to be really exciting. But one thing at a time. We got plenty of GoldenEye to take care of first. Before we say goodnight and wrap things up, let us see who is streaming and who can we raid. What is happening on Twitch. Let's see. There's like a million channels live here. Let's see. Trying ever so slightly to find people I don't constantly raid. That's can be a little bit of a struggle. Let's see. Murphigator doing his last big stream until August 19. That sounds like an excellent time to jump in. He's been going for a while, so I'm not even sure how long he's going, but let's raid before he ends the stream. Thanks a lot for hanging out, folks. This has been a lot of fun. I shall see you guys in the future for more Games Bond and whatever else. Let's go say hi to Murph and cheer him on as he's playing King of Dragons. Game's pretty sick. I'll be back soon. Take care, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the raids and follows and all that other good stuff. And I'll see you guys around. Peace.